Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome back to our platform. I'm your boy Drew. We are Option Forward Podcast. I'm always joined by the second half of the show, GQ Nesto. How you doing today?
What it do?
How you feeling?
I'm pretty good.
Yeah?
Coasting.
You coasting?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. And before I introduce our special guest today, we have a special guest host today. You probably seen her on the show before. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Ms. Jazz Hill. How you doing today?
I am so good. How are you guys?
How are you feeling over there?
I feel good.
You feel good?
I was telling him a little bit outside. There's been a lot of changes happening since we last spoke, but I've been good. So
okay.
yeah.
Positive changes?
I don't know. It's a lot of changes that are just out of my control, and I just got to be calm and see where it takes me, if that makes sense.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's jump right into it. Let's
Inner
let's
peace.
talk about
Exactly.
Inner peace.
Exactly. Yeah.
All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, right, we got somebody representing today. I always think like scenario based, not always, but majority of the times it's easier for me to what do you say? What do you say?
Carpe diem?
No.
Oh.
Man, forget that word. Okay, no, what I'm saying is it's easy for me to understand things like when I put it in scenarios. So I would think of life as like curveballs, right? Every now and then we get a pitch, you know what I'm saying? We swing, it's a miss or it's a hit. Well, our guest today represents somebody who's taken advantage, who's had all kinds of curveballs and obstacles and things come her way, but she found a way to make it through. All right. Success isn't always comfortable, you know what I'm saying? And ladies and gentlemen, here to talk about that is Miss Holly Cotton. How you doing today?
Hey guys, thanks for having me. I'm excited about today's conversation.
All right. How are you feeling?
I woke up, so I'm not complaining. That makes a
that's
great
right.
day. if you woke up on this side, then you're already having a great day.
Most definitely. Do you have a morning routine? What's the first thing you do when you get up in the morning?
Oh my goodness. I stare at the ceiling for about 10 seconds just to say, am I here or is this the alternate universe? And then I'm like, no, this is my real life. Okay, all right. And then as soon as I grab my phone and I look at my to-do list for the day, because I usually forget when I have things to do, and I'm like, oh, I forgot I have an appointment at 9 a.m. or whatever. And then after that, I mean, I just I don't have a huge thing where I meditate. I know a lot of people do that. I'm very regimented, so I just do it's like everything I do is so routine. I get up, I make my bed, I do, it's like bam, bam, bam. So I don't have to think about those things. So that allows me to be more productive with all the other things. I can be creative because I already know that routine is bam, bam, bam. So I'm not like, wait, should I make my bed? What do I need to do today? What am I going to eat for breakfast? I know those things are always the same. So now I can be as creative as I want with everything else.
Do you ever take naps?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Do you rest at all in the day?
No.
Like, you gotta throw in a nap there with all the things that you're doing.
Well, and like sometimes I work till 2 in the morning or something like that, because I mean I have all these other alternate things that I'm doing. So if it's a late night, then like around 2 o'clock, I'm like, let me take a little cat nap, 30 minutes. Oh, here I am, back ready to go. So naps are very underrated. A nap will solve all your problems. I'm telling you.
Well, there's a study that shows it says if you take a 25 minute nap, is basically equivalent to sleeping like 2 hours or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Well, they said
25.
Well, because what they say is that if you go whenever you close your eyes, you start a sleep cycle, and a sleep cycle takes you an hour to get out of that sleep cycle. So there's a key time period before you put your body in that sleep cycle. So as long as you're up before that sleep cycle, but if not, that's why sometimes if you get up from a nap, you're so tired and fatigued 30 minutes after, because your body went in that sleep cycle. So
see, Tesla shit. You know what I mean? You gotta charge yourself.
Right, but not too much, because then it's gonna overcharge, and now I can't wake up.
All right, so
sidebar.
All right, get your naps in, ladies and gentlemen. Get your naps in. Tell Tell us a little bit about yourself. Where'd you grow up? Who is Miss Holly Cotton?
So, I mean, my story is just like everyone else's. I grew up, had normal childhood. I'm from actually, let me just say, because people get mad now, I'm from somewhere called Houma, Louisiana. So all my Houma people think they get angry because I always say I'm in Houston. So I do live in Houston. I've been in Houston my whole adult life now. But, I mean, honestly, I've been a nurse my entire life. That's what I majored in college. And so I was just going along. The thing that makes my story unique and that inspires other people is I was just going along in life. I was a nurse. I was doing my thing, being a mom, raising kids. And then I got diagnosed with breast cancer. And I was the fittest I've ever been in my life. I was doing pull-ups all the time. I was a P90X queen, Insanity. Yeah. Remember when DVDs was a cool thing? Yeah. And so I found a lump whenever I got out of the shower in my armpit, and I was like, oh crap, I have cancer. And everyone was like, no. And I'm like, I'm a nurse. We already diagnosed. I literally look at people and I'm like, they need to get that. They have jaundice. So I had already diagnosed myself. And then, I went through that whole period that comes after anytime you have a traumatic illness, and just getting better and healing. And you go through the ups and downs of that. Sometimes some people get very far in the tunnel and they can't pull themselves up, and they have depression. They might have to do stuff. So after a certain period of time, I was like, okay, so now I'm still here. All of that is over. Now what am I going to do with this purpose? Why am I still here? So my why was like, okay, you know what? I think I'm here for a reason, and I think my reason is to help other people. So I just started talking about my cancer journey, and then I started getting all kinds of people that would reach out to me: prostate cancer, lung cancer, just all of these cancer people, right? So I was like, oh, so apparently now I'm like a cancer advocate. Didn't even know it, but apparently now I am. And then I always say the thing that propelled me into where I am now is at the end of 2018, I decided to write a book. Beginning of 2019, I published my first book, Strong More Than Muscles. And it was an autobiography about my journey with cancer. And then, here we are. A few years later, I've just had my third book. Everything else, podcast show, nurse, media personality, all of these other things, just because I decided to write a book about cancer. So that's my story in a nutshell.
Wow.
Everything happens for a reason. Mm-hmm. All right. Thinking back to adolescent Holly, and then if you're comparing it to the woman you are today, are you where you're supposed to be?
I don't know. I think that you don't have a particular path in life. I know some people feel like you find a purpose or you have a purpose, but for me, in finding myself, I feel like every month my purpose is a little bit different. And it's like, okay, so this is where I was. My main purpose is to be the change. And I say that all the time. So everything I do, anything I put my name on, how is this affecting other people? How is this to change? How does this make me look to other people? And so that's my purpose. But then you have all these little purposes as well. Maybe I'm supposed to reach out to you and make you feel good about being beautiful today. Maybe I'm supposed to reach out to you and tell you stop doing the shrooms. Maybe I'm supposed to, whatever it is. Sometimes your purpose is defined every day. So I think in adolescence, I always was the person where Virgo Nation, where I was always a nurturer, and I always was very compassionate. And so I think that in that sense, I am still the same person I am today, because I still have a heart. I haven't let anything in life harden me, and I continue to be that way. And for me, it's important to be authentic. And so no matter what, I'm like it or not, this is who I am. I'm going to laugh. I'm going to eat cheesecake. I'm going to do what I want to do. I'm not going to do anything I don't want to do. Sure. So, yeah. So I think so in that sense, yes.
So, okay. We have this individual like yourself, right? That's well put together. Everything is on a schedule. So if there was a way to go back, right, and tell your younger self about obviously this new self of you, right, who you are today, what would that young girl think? What do you think that young girl will think or say about you as the person that you are today?
Oh, I think she'd be very proud. I think I say that, you know, we have like these obstacles that we go through in life, and sometimes we stay a little bit too long in the obstacles, but, you know, it could be a bad relationship, it could be a bad job, it could be something, and we stay there a little bit too long. So probably that young person would be like, bro, you stayed a little bit too long in that.
But remember, that young person doesn't know anything. That the young person is innocent. You know what I mean? So I think there's a different emotion to that. You know
Well,
what I mean?
I think overall, I think that who I started off to be and who I am now is what I'm supposed to be doing. I just wish that, I know everyone is always like, because I talk to people all the time that are like entrepreneurs and successful and stuff, and everyone's like, no, there's no such thing as regret. I don't have any regrets. Everything is a lesson. Everything is a life lesson. And I do think that certain things that I went through, like the cancer thing, and even, you know, being married for a specific amount of time, I think those things, I'm glad they did happen because they conditioned me to be a certain way. But sometimes I'm like, listen, I ain't need to go that far in it to learn the lesson. You know what I mean? Like, come on, God, I get it. Okay, you said I was not sitting around being humble. Or maybe I wasn't as appreciative as I could be, but you didn't have to give me cancer for me to calm down. Or, you know, so it's like that. It's like, what are you doing in those you know, those troughs? Like the peaks are always fun, but the troughs, it's like, oh my God, like, why am I still here? So pulling yourself out of that is definitely good. So sometimes I think we get stuck in those troughs. So I was in a trough a couple of times, a little bit too long, but it definitely helped me appreciate those peaks better.
It's so interesting to sort of hear a little bit about your story and what you went through, and then what had followed after that, because I feel like it's always got to be something so traumatic, so moving to happen to good people, to very honest, very humble people that, like, you know, are just not the type of people in the world that would, you know, do any harm to anyone. Like, you're a nurse, you know, such as yourself, and you went through something as such. It's just interesting because even when you had sort of like made the comment of saying, like, I don't know if God should have put me through all of what I went through, because that was a lot. Like, why did I have to go through that? And I sort of think, to answer your question for that, because my mother is also an author, and she just wrote a book with this woman who is one of her best friends, and she was a heart transplant recipient. And she wrote her story about how she had a heart attack and she needed a brand new heart. And the book is basically about this entire spiritual journey she went through, and also being a completely different person before this had happened to her body and her health. And after she got this heart transplant surgery, when I tell you it changed her life, she started a nonprofit organization. She created housing for multiple transplant recipients who weren't able to afford housing while getting treatment.
Those things that are missing in it.
Yes,
and that's the push of pain or the pull of possibilities.
Right.
When you find your passion and purpose in life, it's either the push of pain or the pull of possibilities. Either you found it because somebody can put you on, and you're about to, someone, Oprah Winfrey calls and says, girl, let me get you a show. Full of possibilities. Or it's that push of pain.
Right.
Either way, it's going to be one of the two that finds your passion and purpose.
Exactly. The push of pain and yeah, the push of pain. How you just said that was really moving, I think, honestly, because it's got to, yeah, I'm writing it down in my head because it's so true though. A person has to go through something as such that when they come out of it, as you did, and writing a book, and also still, I'm sure you're figuring out next steps of your journey and your future and your career, like where and how this is going to excel for you maybe 5 years from now, 10 years from now. Like, maybe you're unsure of that, but maybe you're still trying to figure out that plan. But like, the point is that moved you in such a way, your life, and it's just gonna be very interesting to see how it's going to continue this direction for you. I think.
I'm telling y'all, you're gonna see me on the vineyard
Right.
with the Obamas.
Right. Right. Yeah. No, I think I think that everything does happen for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
As heavy as this experience was for you, which I'm sure I couldn't even imagine. But I absolutely believe like God would not give his children some of these really tough battles if they couldn't take it. And clearly you were able to gracefully, is what it looks like.
Well, and I say this too because just so I don't get caught up, or everyone isn't so focused on that. I say that cancer for me was a chapter of my life, and my story of survivorship was cancer. You have a story of survivorship. You do. Everyone has survived something, and me having a cancer chapter doesn't trump anybody else's survival. I had a guest, he got stabbed in the throat with a knife, and and I'm like, okay, well, my cancer story seems very small compared to that. So everyone has a story of survivorship. It's just what you're gonna do with that story. So the same thing you're saying, but I don't want to be okay, cancer, because because it doesn't trump anyone, because you probably went through something that was terrible too.
I mean, I'm fully in agreement with you that everyone has their own
but we talking about me today, so you know what, and we don't care about y'all stuff today.
No, it's good. No, but I know you have a nursing background and stuff like that, but you're also a professor, right? So how rewarding is that? Now,
well,
where do you teach? Are you still?
I'm a college professor. I teach nursing and nursing assistant program. So I teach the CNAs and LVNs and RNs as well. And so for me, everything that I do, I enjoy doing. So the person that I am now, I don't do anything I don't like or don't enjoy, or that's not fun. So of course you have to put in work every day regardless of what you're doing, but it's the level of work that you're doing. So for me, I enjoy teaching, I enjoy talking, I enjoy educating, I enjoy new people who've never thought about going in nursing or medical field, and I can tell them a story, or I can share something, or they're absorbing the information. I love that part. So I love teaching. For me, it's almost like it's just a side hustle. Like, I don't teach for money. I mean, of course, you're going to give me my check, but I mean, I ain't doing that for free. But for me, it's not something where I'm like, oh, I need this check, or I just enjoy doing it. It's something fun for me. It's like a hobby.
Right.
All right. Now take us back. Well, first, it's funny we're talking about. I ain't trying to get in your personal business like that, right? But it was a question he asked our last year. Yeah, one of those, I don't mean to be rude, but no. But during our last episode, the guest, he also had like some kind of medical condition, or his wife did, right? And then so she brought that news to him, and his question was, well, how did that make you feel? Because let's just keep it real. It's like, you're just dating someone, or you're married to someone, but maybe you're at a certain age or a point in your life to where you don't want to be taking care of somebody for the rest of your life, right? When you were informed of your diagnosis, were you married at that time? Is that what? Did your husband was like, dang, this ain't something? Was it challenge?
No. He was just a shitty husband, period. But it wouldn't have nothing to do specific to cancer. But no, we were together at the time, and so that didn't have anything to do with it. But for me, and the way that I am, and being a nurse, and being the type of person where I'm very logical. I'm not gonna sit there and try to figure out, what am I gonna do now? I'm always like, okay, this is the problem. How am I gonna solve it? Could be Virgo. I don't know. But so for me, I was like, as soon as I got the diagnosis, I was like, so what's next? So I'm having surgery. What's my treatment options? Let's go. Let's get it moving. Because I'm not about to sit right here for 3 months and woe is me that I got cancer and now I have to go through this. I'm like, what's the problem? I want it out. Let's keep it moving. Let's do it. What we got to do. So the way that I tell my story about what I went through is that I was so task oriented at the beginning. I didn't have time to be sad that I had cancer. Like, I was so, what's next? How am I going to fix this? How am I going to go to school? How am I going to go to work? How am I going to do whatever? I didn't have time to sit down and be depressed. Now, after I had surgery and I had to start, like I say, you get humbled real quick. And that's why my first book is called Strong More Than Muscles, because I was like, crap, you know, here I am. And now I need the mental strength to get myself up. Like, people forget about that part. Like, you can be physically physically strong, but that mental strong, that's a whole different thing. So I was depressed. You know, I went through the whole thing of where, like, wow, you know, this is sad. I have scars from surgery. You know, I mean, regardless, I'm posting a bikini picture on Instagram, but for me, I still look in the mirror, you know, 10 years later, and I still have scars. And it took me a while to be able to embrace that and do those things. So, you know, I think that I say you have two types of people. You have people that have something traumatic, and again, I'm saying anything that someone goes through, whatever it is, you're a survivor, whatever it is, you have a traumatic event. Either you take that and you go, wow, like you said, push a pain. I found my purpose. I think I need to do this. I'm going to be an advocate. I'm going to change the world. I'm going to do the heart transplant. I'm going to do whatever. Or you take that traumatic event, maybe you're a domestic violence survivor. So you take that, you bury it, you don't talk about it ever again. You got out of that bad relationship, you got out of that situation, you healed from cancer, your wife got over whatever it is, and you never talk about it again. You don't need to. So either way, you decide which way you want to go with it. That's how I feel about it.
Now, when we were speaking on the phone prior to this interview, you had mentioned that you had to redefine your life after surgery. Can you elaborate? What was that? How did you, explain it?
Okay, so for me, I had, like I said, I went from a highly competitive, you couldn't tell me nothing. I was doing 20 push-ups, 20 pull-ups, you know, which is good for a girl. And so I was doing all of this thing. My back was all chiseled. I could do push-ups straight to the chest to the floor. And then I go and I have surgery. And like I said, they had to basically cut all of the breast tissue out of my armpit, because when you have a lump, they have to excise all the tissue around it as well, because you could have cancer in any of that. Anything that was breast tissue, they had to take out in my armpit. So now I go from, I'm like a little T-Rex, because I can't extend my arms out now. Like, so I'm literally like this, because all my breast tissue is gone. So to put your hair in a ponytail, impossible. To tie your shoe, impossible. To shave your leg, impossible. So I was like, now what they done did to me here? Because again, I'm task oriented. I'm like, get it out, let's go, surgery, bam, bam, bam. But then the aftermath was, holy crap, now these things that I took for granted that I could do, I can't do them. And so I always say, like, when I started off just becoming, I guess, like my Holly Cotton influencer, 2019 Instagram, everybody was posting workout videos during COVID, all of that. So I always would have a caption, and I would say, I may never be able to do a push-up or a pull-up again, but you will never outwork me. So I had to redefine what strong was for me, because at one point, pull-ups, I thought I was strong, right. But now I can never do a push-up or a pull-up again, because I have scar tissue, and it literally feels like my whole armpit. But if you see my Instagram, I'm pulling a truck, I'm doing all this other stuff, yeah. You ain't gonna outwork me, but you might be able to do a pull-up, but so for me, I had to redefine what is strong.
I was about to say, like, yeah, I think because you were so task oriented and into the fitness and the physical strength of things, maybe that was the challenge from, if that's what you believe in, God or the Creator, you know what I'm saying, let me challenge your mental strength, you know what I'm saying, because of course, you can I always look at people like that, like, say for instance, take for example, a girl with, like, not nobody here, but a girl with like
that not you.
Yeah,
right. Not you, but the other girl, that other girl with the curly hair.
No, I just ain't trying to get popped today. But like, or you could take a guy or whatever, but like somebody who's just like, say for instance, so made up. You know what I'm saying? So on the exterior, it either looks like overdone or you're like, dang, that's well put together. But on the inside, you're just corrupt. Or you're hurting. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
So it's kind of
so many people like that though.
Yeah.
Yes.
There's so many people.
That's why mental health is such a huge topic now, and everybody's a mental health advocate, because there are so many people, and all the suicides.
Oh
and,
yes. Yeah. No, I think I read something where suicide is like the number one thing that is like killing people the most, at least as far as the US goes, some statistic I saw. But no, that mental health is no joke. I think I also just living in the generation that we're in, where it's very hard, I think, to carry such mental strength when it comes to, you know, a person's finances or, you know, any other traumas happening, maybe not just here, but in different places of the world, or, you know, racial injustices, or just, there's so many different topics we could go into for why people could feel a certain way about themselves or their health or things like that. But it's such a challenge.
Well, that's why I said those three things have to be in Zen together.
Working together.
Physical, mental, and financial. If you want to be healthy, all those three things have to all be in optimal states. Anything off, you broke, now you can't afford to go anywhere. You're overweight, you don't like the way you look, now you're in the house. Now you're in solitude because you're scared to go outside, or you can't go outside. Now your mental health stops you. You have social anxiety. Now you can't go to the gym. Now you get overweight. Now you can't afford because you can't go to work. Like, people don't realize that triangle right there, it's either going to make you or break you. One thing off, you messed up.
Right. Would you say that spiritually you are still on this journey of continuing to like find and grow this inner strength, or would you say like you've already learned your lesson after?
You got time for that.
No. And even so, I have a new book. It's called Somebody's Wife for Not Discovering Self-Love in Single Life. But I talk about self-love a lot in there, and I always say that healing is a day-to-day process. Healing is, you have to do a healing every day. So every day you have to make a choice of yesterday's version of you and today's version of you. So yesterday I felt like, I was healed, I was at peace. Then someone gets in front of me today and they swerve in traffic. That old person is like, you know, or you get in a relationship with or you meet someone and they start doing red flags, but it's like, okay, well, what does this mean for me? Or, you know, whatever it is that was your trigger, you have to make a decision every day to be. No one is ever healed. If they tell you they are healed, they're lying.
Right.
You're not healed. You are healing. Maybe you are better than you were, but your growth journey is from birth to death. Like lifespan, your body ages, but your mind and your spirituality has to grow as well. So you have to do it every day. No one is healed. No such thing.
So what would you say? Can I ask a question?
Go ahead.
Okay. Because I'm like,
I don't know if
you got something specific you want to ask her.
No, let's go with it.
So
I'm trying to get some therapy right now.
yeah. Why not?
I am a life coach. Go ahead.
Yes, I can feel
Speak
it.
away.
Let me just sit back. Okay.
What type of advice would you give to maybe, let's just say, a young woman like myself in her 20s, just trying to navigate as far as this self-healing journey? Because I feel like all young women especially have it the most heightened around this, you know, college girl age group. What would you say to a young girl who is thinking like, you know, is this going to get better for me as far as my self-love, my self-worth? How am I going to strengthen that? What is this journey going to look like for me? Because I don't really see it right now. I don't really see how that, but seriously, like, to think about the unknown is a scary thought. On top of thinking about you, prioritizing you, how does that look? Where are you going? Will you be successful? Will you how will you take care of yourself mentally? Crazy? What?
You want to know something crazy?
Yeah.
You'll never know.
Right.
We will never know. Yes. It doesn't matter. And the crazy part about it is that right now, I think that stage in your life, because I remember my 20s was like my peak. But the thing is like you feel lost. You feel like you have no direction, so you're trying to find that meaning. And the crazy part about it is that feeling never really goes away. It just hits you different, you know? And it's something that you just have to just kind of learn to adapt and use it to your advantage of how that feeling, that negative feeling, can make you like grow a little bit like faster than just sitting down and moping about it. You know what I
Right.
mean? So you just have to leverage on life lessons. That's all it really is, because it's not gonna change. It's just basically just gonna get like worse.
No, no,
oh,
Carly, go ahead,
okay.
Carly.
So this is my advice for whoever is going through that, because we're doing hypothetical. So the first thing you have to do is you have to realize some key things in life that is tough love. Nobody's gonna have you like you. Nobody's gonna care about you but you.
Yeah.
If you're looking for love, you better find it in yourself first. And I think those are the key things
Talk to
that.
him now.
Well, I'm just saying, like, that's great,
Yeah.
all of that. But when you're 20, that means nothing to you. Like, you know what I mean? Okay. Oh, so it's gonna get better. Well, when does it get better? Well, how does it get better? It'll never get better. And that's what he said. Like, it's the unknown. But what you have to do is you have to make sure, and this is for the person that's listening, you have to make sure that you are whole, whatever that means for you, and you hold on to that, and you don't let an MF ever take it away from you. I don't care who it is. It could be your parent, it could be your dog, it could be your best friend. But when you find that best version of you, hold on to it, and you just keep adding to that. And every decision that you make goes back to, is this the best version of me? Because it's easy. You find someone, you find a cute guy, whatever, they see you as a person that, I love myself, I'm whole, I got all of this going in. Some people will feed off of that. They love that positive energy because they're negative energy. So they'll start pulling that energy from you, and the whole time now you're depleted because I got to keep boosting you up.
Right.
So what you do, you only
Talk now.
align yourself with people that have the same heart, the same energy, the same value as you. Because them other people, all they gonna do is take from you. Take. And then now I came and I was like, hey, and now I'm like, oh Lord, you in a bad mood again today, so I got to start my day by making you feel better about yourself. Now that stops me from being happy, rather than you're healed, I'm healed, now we can go up together. So once you realize that nobody's got you like you, I'm telling you. And again, I'm not saying anything about don't find companionship, don't have friendship, don't have it. But the problem is that people, when you're in a bad place or you're feeling like that, you start pulling from other people as well. And you're like, oh my God, I love your energy. I need some of that because I need that. Oh, you know what to do. You got this direction. Oh, give me some of that because I need some of that. And you're constantly wanting and wanting. But if he goes away, she goes away, guess what? You still stuck at day one. So pull it in, take care of that, find it, hold on to it, and every decision you make in life's got to be around that. I know it's hard. I tell my daughter the same thing. And guess what? My daughter is like, she knows. She's like Pimp Mama. She's like, Mom, and he tried to take it, but he ain't getting, and do you not know who I am? Do you not all that I have? So for me, that makes me feel good because I'm like, yes, I'm doing something because I'm not just yapping about nothing. She's actually learning her value as well. Once you know your worth, can't nobody take it away from you. But when you don't know your worth, they try to take it. They try to belittle you. They try to do all of that. But anyway, we're not going to catch the Holy Ghost. But that's my advice for whenever you starting off in life.
Please turn your Bibles.
I feel like we were like in Remember the Titans a little bit.
Well, I'm just saying,
But
you know.
Yeah.
No, but honestly, it's constant. It's daily.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So,
And everything you do
it
has
sound
to
good
align.
right now. You taking those nuggets, and then tomorrow is not applied. You're gonna be asking the same question. So that's what he was saying. It doesn't necessarily get better, but the easiest thing to do, and it's hard because if you're a goal-oriented person, you set a timetable. You know
Right.
by what time you want to accomplish this. I wanna
Vision
have
board.
This,
Oh,
right?
Vision
You know
board.
what I'm saying?
every New Year's Eve, I write down what I'm doing for 2023, first quarter. So I have goals and dreams. Goals, I know I'm gonna crack them out. Dreams, I might hit on a dream by accident, but I know at least I have something to go for. What's your goals? What you got? All the goals that I had on my 2023, I had already met by July. So my friend was like, that means you wasn't dreaming big enough. That means your goals wasn't big enough. So once you start crushing them, you're like, this is what I'm gonna do. And here's the biggest thing, accountability. Because nobody's gonna come make sure that goal is met but you. Nobody's gonna come see if you won but you. Again, I'm not saying the whole Roscoe Jenkins team of me, but I'm saying that accountability for yourself. I know for a fact, if I don't go network, if I don't go to this event, if I don't go to the thing with the mayor, if I don't do this, they don't care. They going on with their life. But I know that I should have done that. I should do that. I should put myself in that room. I should be there where that is. And I make sure I just do it. There's no plan B. It's accountability. So that's it.
You feeling that?
No, I'm so feeling that.
Okay,
I'm
good.
so
All right,
feeling that.
all right.
I'm so thinking that I'm just such a believer in everything happens for a reason, and being in certain places and time, or speaking to certain people. And yeah, it's almost like I was looking for something of that exact answer, is finding more accountability within myself, and knowing that every goal I want to reach, every dream I have, every vision I seek out, everything that I do want for myself, as she said, it has to fall on me. It can't fall on anybody else.
And it's obtainable. That's the first thing. You know you can do it.
Right.
But how you gonna make it happen?
Right.
And nobody cares but you.
Right.
So make it
Right.
happen. No more excuses.
Right.
No more.
We're gonna do a check-in
We're
next
gonna
year. I'm gonna
check
need to
in.
see your
Check
goal
in.
list. I'm gonna have
Right.
to check
Check
in. What's
in.
going on next?
Right.
Follow me on Instagram, HollyCotton_.
Yeah.
We got you. All right, so I'm a firm believer in like obstacles creates like strength and endurance. So let's talk about Strong Squad. What's your reason behind the development of that, and what is Strong Squad?
So Strong Squad is my company that I started as an entrepreneur, and basically, like I said, my whole thing was finding the strongest version of myself after cancer. So we're talking about 2019, like this is all right before COVID. And so for me, that's my book was called Strong More Than Muscles. I kept talking about that. And so for me, I wanted to have some kind of way to bring this community of people that were now supporting me and reaching out to me and defining their version of strong. Because I say all the time that strong is not physical strength only. Strong may be you're going through something and I am holding your hand knowing I can't even help you go through it. You got to go through it yourself. So sometimes it's hard for me to be the person holding the hand of the survivor because I can't heal you. I can't do anything. How many people are in the hospital right now where something happened to them and their parents or their loved one, they could, or even them, they got billions of dollars, millions of dollars, and nothing can save their life. You can't make your kid be able to walk again, no matter what. Like you can't do that. You can't. So there's money ain't it, So sometimes that survivor is being the person that's helping that other person. So whenever I started saying that, wow, all of us are strong together. So what's your version? Strong inside and out. And then I was like, oh, we're like a squad of strong people. Oh, you know what? We Strong Squad. So then that's pretty much how it is. So that's my parent company that I have for everything. So all my business stuff is under Strong Squad and everything. So
gang, for sure. All right. Beyond the Fit, was that through that's your podcast, right?
I just changed the name though.
What's the name change?
So now it's the Holly Cotton Show.
Okay.
So Beyond the Fit was, so when I started my podcast actually was started on Ebony Magazine wanted to start a podcast network because Ebony Magazine is in digital publishing as well, blah, blah, blah. The vice president wanted to start a podcast network. I was posting these little cuckoo videos online and they were like, hey, we think you have a good voice. You want to do a podcast on our podcast network? So I was like, with Ebony Magazine? Yeah. So I was like, something is
bet.
Yeah, I was like, bet. And I was, but I said, if I do a podcast, I want to talk about anything other than fitness because I'm a nurse, cancer survivor. I post workout videos all the time. People expect me to get on and start talking about health and wellness. I can't talk about health and wellness every week. I'm gonna throw a little bit of hey, let's be all healthy versions of ourselves. Let's do what we got to do. Quit eating that Popeye's chicken, whatever. I'm gonna throw some little gems in, but I don't want to sit around and talk about it, nor do people want to just hear about it over and over again. So that's how it started as Beyond the Fit. So I've been Beyond the Fit for almost 18 months. And then recently, when I tell you, in the last 2 weeks, so I actually have, because I have all these people that reach out to me now because they want me to sign with them because they want to take my show and they want to put it on a streaming distribution package and do all of this. And so every time I have a meeting, like the person I had a meeting with for this, I told him the same thing. I said, for me, I don't care about the money. I got money. So for me, you can't come in and dangle money in front of me. Like, I got my own money. So I'm just saying. So for me, it's about purpose. So I have a purpose. People believe in me. People started following my show because I was going beyond the fit, beyond just how you look on the outside. Let's cover some topics. What you got going on? Oh, you wrote a book about mental health. Oh, you got this. Oh, you're a burn survivor. Oh, you have this. You know, so I have all these interesting guests. Like I have a transgender guy comes on. And when I ask things, I can ask things from a nurse, educator perspective where it's not offensive, because sometimes people start talking and they ask things and it's so rude, or you hear a little clip and you're like, well, that was effed up the way you asked them that, you know. So there's a way to sashay around that to make sure that you're asking it appropriate to where you don't make that person feel uncomfortable. And not only that, but because of my personality, people come out of the shell. So you might start off talking about something. By the end of the day, you're like, yeah, so let me tell you, Holly, what had happened was, you know, because now you realize I'm not out to hurt you. I'm not out to do that. So because people follow me and they are drawn to that purpose, then that's the case. So yeah, so I went to the Holly Cotton show, because Beyond the Fit, even though it was Beyond the Fit with Holly Cotton, my PR person was like, I'm thinking, you know, maybe people automatically assume it's about fitness, and now we're trying to get you on the vineyard, so why not just go all out and just be Holly Cotton? So all my new episodes are Holly Cotton show. Everything's still the same. You can click on Beyond the Fit, it'll just route you. Only thing is different is the album cover.
Okay. Nestor, you want to chime in? You got anything? Absorbing all this knowledge?
I'm just like, shit, she's like going like 150 miles per hour. I was like, damn, hold on, I'm still trying to grasp all the information she just laid out.
I'm sorry.
I'm like, what do you do for fun? Please don't tell me that you go see butterflies or something like that, or rabbits.
I'm going to tell you this. It was so funny. I was on a podcast, and the guy was like, what do you do for fun? And I told him this, and it actually went viral because he posted the clip. And it was like 500,000 views for me saying this. But I said, my life is fun. I don't do anything I don't like. I live every day the best life I can live. So
there's no decompressed time.
I don't have to, because when I want to take a vacation, I go on a vacation. When I want to do something, I do it. I don't have things that I allow to penetrate my aura where I need a vacation from it. Like, you're not going to stress me out to where I'm like, you know what? I need a break from him. I will get up and walk out, because I will not. You work hard to get this person. I did everything I can. I'm not going to let you come in here and ruin what I built. 5 minutes of taking away from this, I'm not going to do it. So I'm not going to eat anything I don't like. I'm not going to go somewhere I don't like. I'm not going to be somewhere. My friends know. I'm like, all right, I did the meet and greet. I love y'all. All right, I'm out. You know, if I'm not liking the vibes, I'm leaving. I'm not going to sit there and be miserable and complain the whole night I'm miserable. Mm-hmm. I done came here, oh God, this party's so stupid. Oh my God. I'm not going to go out on a date with someone.
So there's no specific activity that is like, okay, this is your favorite, or like favorite
My
food?
life is fun. So
all of it.
She does it all. I
told her, I was like, I looked up, I have some little things we're gonna do. I was like, ooh, we going to this s'mores place. Like for me, like I don't have to plan to go somewhere. I don't have to plan to do something. I'm like, next time I'm there, next time I'm there, I'm gonna do this, or you know what, or I like that. But yeah, I don't do anything. So honestly, I don't have to do anything for fun. I'm gonna do it. It's just when I'm doing it. I'm gonna take a trip. I go somewhere 2-3 times a month. I'll celebrate my birthday. I don't wait for somebody to celebrate my birthday. I went to Turks for a week. I do the things that I want to do that make me happy.
Rick Ross.
Boss.
It's not, but if people live that way, then your life would be so much better. We have premature aging because you're getting drowned out by all of the stress in life because you allow things to stress you. Why are you allowing it? You can't stress me out, because guess what? I hold the power for myself. You think I'm about to let you make me miserable, or you think this job is going to make me miserable? You think that no, I'm out.
Mm-hmm.
Don't. I dig it.
Period.
I dig it.
And on that note,
but no, because we coming to the close of the show. But I got a couple questions I want to ask you before we get all that.
Okay.
So what's so we know your life is amazing, right?
Oh my God, no, it's not. My life is just regular. Okay, you done came in here. You know it's perfect. No, I got crappy stuff that happens too.
No, what I'm saying is okay. So, maybe I should rephrase this.
Yeah, because I don't want
you're
no
holding
hate.
it down.
No,
You're saying you're doing a good job holding it down.
Thug life.
Let
Yeah.
me clean my.
Okay.
Right. So you don't get involved in anything that you don't want to do. You're selective, right? Because your time is valuable, right?
Sounds
but
nicer.
But it seems like you're in control of every aspect. So I would ask you, like, what's one thing you think you wish you can do better?
Oh, I definitely think parenting is something that I think we all, because for parenting, you can only instill things in your kid and you hope that they take those things and they become the best versions of themselves. And it's so hard because you don't have control over it. You're like, I told you don't steal, but then your kid will go and steal something. Or I told you don't do this, and then they go and do that. So for me, I think that that's the one thing that I'm always like, wow, I know at some point I'll see if what I've done is going to pay off. I'll one point if I live to see it, they'll be 30. Are they going to be successful at what they're doing? So that's the one thing that I do, like, always hope that I've done enough, but I don't know if I did or not until you see how they came out, but
legacy.
Yeah.
Right
Yeah.
I'm hoping they see it and they're like, you know what? My mom created a thing. But I actually interviewed my son. It was so funny. I interviewed him because I had a video that went viral, and I had like 1 million engagements on my Instagram. And I was like, listen, you better come get some of this engagement, because he's an artist. And I was like, you better come get some of this engagement while I got it. So I actually did like a little quick interview.
So funny.
Yeah, I was like, I put people on all the time. I'm not gonna do my own kids. So I was like, you better come get some of these views or whatever, because when you get that engagement, that means people are coming. When I tell you, like, when I looked at my story, I couldn't believe the celebrities that were in my story. I was like, holy crap, like, oh my God, like, I mean, how y'all found little old Holly Cotton, I don't know, but I'm loving it. So
you're fulfilled. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So I told him to come get it. And the one thing I asked him, I was like, so one of the things that I think is a determinant of how successful a person is how their children speak about them. Because some kids, they can't stand their parents. They like, my mom's a piece of shit. I don't ever want to talk to her again or whatever. So I, like, for me, I want to make sure that at least they have something. So he said, he was like, I think that, I was like, I'm inspired. Every time I thought you were going to hit a limit, you broke past the barrier. And he was like, but I'll be honest, growing up like that, it was hard because there was a lot of pressure on me to do things. And I was like, and don't it pay off now? Like, I'm not gonna let you be a little bum. No, you need to do better. So yeah, long story short, parenting is probably my thing. Mm-hmm.
All right, so I'll start over. Mm-hmm. So let's talk about somebody's wife or not. Mm-hmm. All right. So what was the motivation behind the book? And what's some of the topics you discussing in there?
Oh, it's juicy. So the motivation was simple. Is I'm sick of everybody and their mama telling these single people that you need to be somebody's wife. It's everything is always how to get the ring, how to get the man, how to get the wife, how to keep your wife happy, how to all of these things, and then now you have all these podcasters, hey, yeah, yelling in the microphone and the clip and stuff. And I was like, you know what? I'm about to write a book about you guys need to learn how to love yourself, single or whether you're in a relationship or not. So I started saying whenever I was doing like my promo for my book, I was like, because people are always like, oh, so you're happily single, or I was like, this book doesn't have anything to do with me. Don't try to get in my business. But here's my thing. You could be single tomorrow if something happens to your wife. You could be single tomorrow if you get out of a bad relationship. Maybe somebody's in a domestic violence relationship. Maybe the person is cheating on them and they find out about it. You are weren't planning on being single, but guess what? Now you're single. So now you're sitting around up here moping around, feeling like you aren't a full person because your other half is gone, or maybe you haven't found the right person. Now you start feeling like something's wrong with me because I haven't found that person. And then what happens is people confuse being alone with lonely. And so I have a chapter about that, alone versus loneliness. Don't get it confused. Yeah, you get lonely. I might be in the car, I might be driving. You're like, I sure wish I had somebody to eat with. That's loneliness. But being able to accept being alone is a state of physicalness. So I think a lot of times people feel that loneliness and they feel like they can't be alone because they don't like that loneliness. But I always say the times when I felt the loneliest was when I was actually in a marriage that wasn't where I should have been. When you have someone in the other room that you can't even talk to because you know it's going to result in an argument, or maybe you have something good that's happening, but you know if you tell them, they're going to suck the life out of your happy news. So you're like, you know what, never mind. So now I'm sitting in the room like, I wish I had somebody to tell this good news to. So I'm lonely. So I talk about that. I talk about ego versus communication. Like sometimes you're like, well, I don't want them to know I'm thinking about them. I ain't calling them first. And then they're like, well, I ain't calling them first or whatever. And so, you know, I talk about stay and cheat. I talk about single sex. Like, hey, you know what? Now that you're single, enjoy having multiple sex partners. See who you like. Maybe now you can be compatible with someone else. Maybe when you were in a relationship with someone, you had to hold in something that might have been your kinky fetish, but now you meet somebody out here on a single life, they might like that fetish, you know. Right. So don't feel bad about it. So I talk about single sex. I talk about submission. A lot of times people don't want to submit. A woman is like, well, I'm not submitting to a man if he ain't paying my bills or he ain't doing nothing. But then what does that mean? It might be that that's actually a trauma that she's had, where she felt like the last person she was with, he didn't protect her. He wasn't someone that could lead because he wasn't doing that. So she might think that those financial things mean leader, or a man might be like, I ain't giving no woman no money. She ain't getting none of my check. But then really, what is it? Because when you gave a woman maybe some material things, she didn't make you feel appreciated. So now everybody has a red flag. Now you like, oh, she asked for dinner. She ain't using me. So it's like all these topics that single people talk about, funny stories in there as well. But yeah, that's my new book, Somebody's Wife or Not, available on all book platforms.
All right. All right. Dang, hold on. So what's coming up next? What projects we got lined up? What's next for Miss Holly Cotton?
I have several things that are in the works right now, but honestly, it's like every time. So this is the analogy that I give everyone, and this might help you guys also. See, I wish I'd have told her this. So everyone's life is a universe, okay? So if you go out in the sky, there's black holes where there's nothing, or you can go in the Milky Way with all the stars. Your life is your universe. You can have as many stars as you want. You can have all the bling and glitter as you want, or you can have a black hole. So I feel like everything that I do is just another star in my galaxy. So it's not, I've done that. I still got a star for it. I've been a nurse. Oh, there's my star. Oh, wrote 3 books, 3 more stars. Oh, got a podcast. There's a star. There's a star. So having a new star doesn't take away from my old stars. All it does is it makes the Holly Cotton universe even blingier. So just keep shining. So for me, I'm just getting as many stars as I can get on there, and of course having my own talk show is gonna be next. We're gonna Oprah Winfrey call me, Tyler Perry, I don't Revolt, one of y'all call me, Tubi. Anyone call me. But obviously I would love to do that because I found, you know, a passion in just, I guess, being a nurse and always having to educate patients. It's just easy for me to talk to people, and then being a life coach and inspiring people and detaching my story from your story, because I don't like to do that. I don't like to just talk about me and make it all about me. You know, I like everyone to know we all have a candle. We can all shine together as, you know, whole team winning. So that's my philosophy. I just try to live every day like that in my purpose. And yeah, so that's it. So be prepared, because baby, this galaxy is shining over here.
Dropping gems. That's what's up.
It's definitely been like so enlightening and
Thank you,
fun and
guys.
enjoyable. You know what I'm saying? You're definitely one of my favorite guests so far.
Aw.
Definitely kept us on our toes.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
oh shit, like,
Like, yeah.
shit's going hard. Like,
because normally, as a host of a podcast,
It's hard.
energy, you gotta keep your energy up. But see, your energy, so I can take back. Like she carried by herself.
Please enlighten us.
Keep going. But as we always do before we come to the ending of our show, I always open up the microphones and our table to our guests and to our hosts to share any parting words with the viewers and the listeners out there. We're gonna start with you, Miss Holly. Is there anything you would like to share to anyone listening or watching?
I think I said quite a lot today, so I hope some of those things resonated with something and someone. And I think a lot of times whenever you listen to podcasts, you're expecting to hear a topic, like you're expecting to get something, and you may not realize that you even need that information. So I think it's so important to have things like you guys are doing where you're able to give people that platform to talk about certain things, because you may not even know that you need that information until you hear someone say it, like she was saying, like, oh wow, I didn't even know I needed to be in this room. So I think that's it. Just make sure you make yourself in the room. My catchphrase is always, life is short, live it, so pretty much it.
GQ Nesto, anything you would like to share?
YOLO, like she says, YOLO. I think it can't be more. You can't describe it any better, And I definitely appreciate the gems that you threw out in this interview. I think it's crazy how simple reality is. You know what I mean? And the fact that you're just living that's amazing. So I think a lot of our audience can relate to that, because it's always easy to point out the negative parts, right? But we never focus on the positive or how we can sustain that happiness. So definitely an episode a lot of people could relate and thank you for sharing. And our audience, thank you for following our social media platforms. We really appreciate it. That's it.
Most definitely. I would say what I got out of this whole thing is this perspective. Like regardless of, to sit here and say that, life is a joyride every day, all day, that's not a realistic statement or thought to have, a mentality to have. But thank you. You know what I'm saying? What you have gone through and what you've accomplished is inspirational to anyone that will listen. So we appreciate your time. We appreciate you, listeners, watchers. Thank you for all your support. I'm your boy, Drew. We are Option for a Podcast. We see you guys next time. God bless.